mass in a critical group, especially in this year of election. The IEBC is conducting its second mass voter registration within months as it seeks to have more Kenyans, especially first-time voters, get that card that can be used to participate in the process of determining the kind of leaders Kenyans put into office. But even as politicians scramble for numbers and rally, especially young people, to register to vote, many in that bracket have shied away or have had to be seriously convinced to play a key role in the electoral process and in a wider context, democratic space. Leila Mohammed looks at demystifying the youth voter apathy and how the country can fully engage them in such critical processes.
The connection between the political class and young people dates back several centuries, and despite the change in time, this relationship hasn't evolved to the point where young people are fully engaged in democracy, the current mass voter registration drive being Exhibit A.
For a population of 75% falling under the youth category, you would be a fool not to target the youth as you are engaging in this democratic exercise. I believe one of the reasons that we really need to focus on, particularly what we are calling the virgin voters and getting them registered, is because times are changing, our politics is shifting, even in terms of development of this country.
It's important to engage them because you have to decide where do they want to go in terms of this country and who's going to lead them to that process. But they are not having that conversation for many, and they're sort of sitting on the sidelines for some. Some are very apathetic.
With every 5-year cycle, persons who have never voted before are targeted, and this election year hasn't been any different. Those targeted have given various reasons on why they have or have not chosen to be part of the political process and governance in general.
Ukienda kupiga kura una maamuzi ya kusema huyu ndiye kiongozi ninayetaka ambaye anaweza kuyatimiza yale malengo unayoyatamani.
Niko nayo na nilikuwa nahimiza wenzangu hasa vijana wadogo wajitokeze kwa wingi wachukue kura.
Majumbani kuna tokosa. Ile dhiki ambayo mtu anayo, anaona ile kwenda kukata kura, anakuta ile yani inamdemoralize.
I haven't registered as a voter because the times are different, but the players are the same.
With an approximate average age of 19, many in the Kenyan population are targeted to make this significant step for the very first time. Executive Director Siasa Place Nerima Wako believes that this conversation of fully engaging young people in democracy going forward should be an everyday dialogue and not just every 5 years.
Even just the mediums, you've talked about accessing youth on phones, on social media. A lot of them are still listening to the radio, and what kind of content is being spewed on radio?
The youth have gone. They've left us. They are on TikTok. They are on the digital platforms. They have a different way of consuming information and digesting it and saying, okay, I'm going to take this part of information and act on it.
The political class has been challenged to engage young people in civic education in their gatherings and not just rally up the numbers to amass votes later in the year.
Before that, you never used to have barazas. Political parties never used to spend money to host barazas of college students and university students. As a matter of fact, what they used to do, they would pick a youth league leader who comes from a particular university and hope that they would just act in those spaces without intentionally going a step ahead to say, no, as a political party, are we summoning these people? Are we doing this? What do they need?
The United Nations Agency on Youth has strong evidence that the participation of young people in formal institutional political processes is relatively low when compared to older citizens across the globe.
The systemic challenges is the underfunding of youth programs. As much as people will say, this administration has really focused on affirmative action for young people. But what we haven't done well is procurement processes, accountability in terms of these resources actually getting to young people, these processes being learned.
This situation challenges the representatives of the political system and leads to the disenfranchisement of young people. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
In the efforts to shore up the numbers, 2 days ago, Kisumu County Governor Anyang' Nyong'o gave the county staff 2 weeks off.